brick wall reviews, where I display footage of me shooting the firearm and I talk to you. Now, here I have a PSA Dagger that is completely loaded and ready to annihilate my testicles.
Accidentally shot himself in the groin.
Now we're going to start off with my first impressions of this weapon system. I'm going to go off the rip and then I'm going to consult my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. First thing, of course, is going to be how gross this thing feels. It just doesn't feel like a professional firearm. It feels like it was put together by a little Taiwanese boy who's being screamed at in Laotian while poked with, sharp sticks, so he's got a lot of pressure to move these products. I'm not a fan of that. The trigger, it feels fine. It's got a short reset. Boom, boom. Trigger, it's fine. It's nothing to write home about, but it's definitely smooth, crisp, and I never had a problem with it while I was shooting it. The trigger looks ugly. The hinge trigger looks a little weird, but it works and it functions just fine. Now, off the rip, what I did do was I measured all of the... Pop this open real quick. I measured the internals. I took measurements of every little piece in here with photos to see how well it performed. Now, I did shoot 200 rounds through it before taking these measurements of everything because, well, I'm a silly goose with a room temperature IQ. So I forgot to do that before I started shooting the pistol, but then I remembered too. Another thing I did right was witness marks on everything. Did those witness marks tell me much? Yes, they did. And we're gonna get into that after I talk about a little bit of rattle, not a lot of rattle. Now let's go into my first shots. The first things I immediately noticed when I shot it, and that is, holy crap, it actually worked. Yes, it didn't malfunction. And now these are the first shots I'm talking about. And what I also noticed is I run my thumbs a little high on that slide. And if you run your thumbs high on that slide, it catches right on that fingernail here on my thumb. Now that might not be a problem for most of you people, but I am a mutant of a human being. And when I say I'm a mutant of a human being, I am talking about my bone density and my fingernails growing back super fast. Don't believe me, when I got my fingers ripped off, I have to go get a second surgery because my bones grew more bones. That shouldn't have happened. So that's a fun thing in my personal life to, connect me to the viewer. Also, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna hide my belt buckle because I think it's weird to show it off, even though it shows how massive of a hog I do not have. But once again, after the first shots, impressed that it actually fired and worked. I was impressed with the trigger squeeze even while shooting it. The sight radius, a little weird being this short, but I got a red dot for it. Now, we're gonna talk about my first malfunctions. I have to sneeze. I am done sneezing. We're gonna talk about, I have to sneeze again. Now we're gonna talk, I have to sneeze again. Done sneezing. Now we're gonna talk about the first few malfunctions I had, which I thought was gonna end up tanking this review or getting me more clicks because you guys would love for me to hate on PSA. But unfortunately, I just put the wrong screws in the optic. Bang, boom, boom, back off into the races. We are shooting again. No more malfunctions after that incident. You will see me having malfunctions in some of this footage, and those are malfunctions that I personally induce for training. I will induce malfunctions on my pistols by just throwing an empty case of brass in there. That way I can just practice oh shit situations. But yes, very impressive. No malfunctions with this. Now I'm gonna move up to my 500 rounds. What was I thinking after 500 rounds of shooting this pistol? Like, comment, subscribe. And how did it perform? Did I like it? Did I hate it after 500 rounds? Well, you can actually see me shooting at the 500 round mark because that's when I did this review on this Siley. And I rushed that review because I thought I was going to have surgery sooner than I did, and it got pushed back, so I'm still here reviewing handguns for you guys. But all that bullshit aside, let's talk about what I actually felt and thought about this. One, I immediately noticed that the finish is going away pretty rapidly. So the finish on this is just as bad as SIG's. I would still carry this over a P320. Now moving on. I have not had any serious malfunctions other than the ones that I induced by using the wrong screws. I was surprised that it hadn't gotten any smoother whatsoever. I have cleaned and lubricated this weapon system because during the review of the Siley, I threw it in a bunch of mud. Now, that's when we start seeing the actual malfunctions come out. This weapon system does not like muddy, wet conditions to a point. If you have murky, muddy water and you throw this in there or accidentally drop it, one was an accident, one I intentionally threw, it does not like that and it will malfunction during every round fired. But most pistols aren't going to survive being dunked in like soupy mud, so I can't be that upset with it. That wasn't to test the pistol, that was to test the optic, and the optic performed and the pistol did not. But not too much hate. Now at this point, I think I did remove the compensator. The compensator wasn't causing any malfunctions, but during the Siler review, I wanted to shoot some suppressed rounds through this, see the performance at nighttime. And under suppression, I will say this pistol, not a fan, does not like suppressors. So if you bought this with a threaded barrel to think you're going to be a super high operator, you may just need to replace the recoil spring on it. You may have to do a few other things, maybe replace a barrel with better tolerances, because we understand that QC is something that the gun community just refuses to do. We're going to talk about the witness marks that I had on this pistol. See right here and here, that pin has been rolling, which means, yes, the pins will probably escape eventually. This pin, still there, and then the pin in here, the metal is just gone. But now you can see the elephant in the room is I don't know how to stempel firearms, but this weapon system was so cheap that I said, screw it, no YouTube video, not taking 5 seconds to look up how to stempel. I'll just grab the soldering iron and go after this boy. And I can tell you, this is some cheap plastic, because that soldering iron just went right through it. And I should have looked up some videos on it, but I did not, because why do my own research when I have a hot soldering iron and 3 Coors Banquets in my system? The finish is wearing, the polymer on it is kind of meh about it, but it's not so bad that it's gonna blow up on me or shoot, because I've shot 500 rounds since I've stempeled it. I do trust that this weapon system isn't going to blow up on me. I want to talk about something a little more serious, and that is, would I trust this dagger with my life? We are now getting into the 1,000 rounds portion of this video and my opinion on it. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with, it has not malfunctioned at all after 1,000 rounds. That wasn't under suppression or me having a room temperature IQ. So yes, this single representation of the dagger I would trust with my life. Now, would I trust a random dagger that PSA sent me? No. I don't trust any pistol that any company sends me, because it seems like every major firearms manufacturer says, we'll let the user do the QC, but don't worry, we'll ship you a new one if it malfunctions. But yes, this has earned my respect after 1,000 rounds. I do want to say, I want to give a pause on that 1,000 rounds real quick. It's important to actually shoot this weapon system, because you don't know if I shot 1,000 rounds through it. I'd hope I'd have the integrity and the moral fortitude to not lie to my subscriber base, but I bet there's 1,000 YouTubers out there that would lie to your face on your round count. And I think that is not only disrespectful, but fucking dangerous. If you're willing to lie to your subscriber count or your subscriber base about the rounds you've shot through a weapon system, then you don't care about them and you don't care if they die. Yes, it's that serious. This is a weapon system people are going to depend on with their lives, and you'll lie about the round count? That's fucking disgusting. It's a disgusting practice that I see on YouTube all the time. Another practice that I don't like, but I don't judge too hardly on, is burning down the weapon system. Let's go shoot 1,000 rounds at the range and see if it performs. That's not a good test on a firearm. It's just not. It's premature wear. You're overheating all the mechanical parts on it. With an M4, I would say a burn down of 210 rounds, perfectly normal, right? 210 rounds is the amount of magazines and rounds you would shoot during a firefight or you'd have on your kit. So yes, I could see a burn down of that specific round count. But for handguns, what is this, a 15 round magazine? Incalculable amount of rounds, 30. But, not to flex on you, I know you have dyslexia, John, not to flex on you, but yes, 30 rounds with two 15 round magazines. Now, if you're carrying two 17 rounds, if you're carrying two 17 round magazines, once again, incalculable, don't do math in public. But yes, that's the max I would do a burnout on a weapon system, because that's not a true test of how it would perform in daily use, daily activities. I know it's a controversial opinion. That's my opinion on that topic. Back to the actual video itself. Yes, I do trust this with my life. I did not mention the compensator too in depth, but yes, the $20 Amazon compensator worked just fine. It didn't induce any malfunctions. I wanted to see if the budget compensator would work on the budget pistol, because it comes with a threaded barrel, and if you're spending $300 on a pistol, you're not going to spend $100 on a compensator. Like, you're just not. So I figured, why not test that budget compensator, and it performed adequately. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, but if I didn't, if you buy any firearm, go ahead and shoot 200 rounds through it at the bare minimum to make sure your firearm works. Go make that massive investment of $80 and see if that weapon system will perform. Because once again, gun companies don't care about, the people that they're entrusting to use their products to, defend their life with. No, not too much hate to PSA, because at least they're somewhat open about how they don't do QC. That's how they keep their prices low. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let's go ahead and get some measurements on this pistol and see if anything warped, changed. If nothing's changed, then this will pretty much be the end of the video. But if it hasn't, then I will definitely let y'all know. Get off my range.